This episode is brought to you by that one guy at the gas station that gets in line right behind you.
This episode is also brought to you by Power Saver Mode on your phone. This is Sorry for the Wait. Here we go. Fired up, ready to go. Welcome to the show, folks. This is Sorry for the Wait, a weight loss podcast for regular people by regular people. I am your host, Seth.
And I'm your host, Strawberry.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, Seth.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Beautiful day out today, huh?
Yeah, really is.
Really, we're just right back at it again. But I don't know if you saw this news today.
Oh, are we doing another one of these?
Well, I mean, no, this is just kind of habitual banter at this point. You know what I mean? But I don't know if you saw this, but Wawa, our favorite establishment on the face of the planet, is adding a drive-through location.
I did hear about that.
That blew my mind. Could you imagine just the ramifications of having a drive-through Wawa?
Honestly, that would have been terrible because I can't imagine how long we would have had to wait in the car for like 6 sandwiches in a car.
Yeah, but I do think that in today's day and age of 2020, you could order so many things on the mobile app and then just drive right through, like trying to get back from like for camp curfew.
True.
Like
true.
that's
you order ahead.
You just speed right through the drive-through line. I saw that notification and I was like, oh man, camp people everywhere are definitely in on this. Like everyone's all for it. And
yeah,
so,
it's great for me because there's no Wawa near us, so I can't be tempted.
we almost took a trip. There was one time we got dangerously close in the past of I think it was maybe 4 hours and 40 minutes, I think
Right.
was the drive.
And I think the words that I said to you was that sounds like a long time, but that could just be a day trip.
Yeah. And the fact that we would make a day trip for sandwiches, yeah, it speaks to how far we've come now that we wouldn't even entertain that. But hey, how was your
Speak
week?
for yourself.
Yeah, tell me about your week. Want to know.
All right. So, well, first off, a little update from last time. So I had my first session with my therapist.
Woo!
And it wasn't even the actual therapist, I found out. This was a guy that my doctor put me in touch with to find the right therapist for me.
Okay, so asked you kind of like questions about kind of who you are, where you're at, and then they
Right.
recommend from there.
Exactly. So
Oh,
I
that's
did
perfect.
spend like a full hour on the phone with him, kind of like going through all this stuff
Yeah.
to just kind of explain me. And I feel very confident that I'll be getting somebody who
Well,
works for me.
that's what I want to ask. Did that feel just as therapeutic as if you were to have like an opening therapy session?
Yeah, honestly, it did. I kind of treated it like it was
Yeah.
therapy, so I was like, I don't care.
Like I am just the administrative assistant, like,
Yeah.
and you're just telling them everything already.
Yeah, maybe it was just like a quick like 5-question like survey that they ask you, and then I was just like, oh, I'll just tell you my whole life story.
That's great. I mean, that's awesome though. I mean, that's definitely a good way to kind of get in the door because at least then you feel a lot more comfortable about the person being chosen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it was also a pretty good week on the scales last week. 3 pounds down.
Nice, consistent.
Yep.
So what's your total right now?
It's 73.
Nice.
Yeah.
Still walking too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just moving and grooving
Every day.
and the clothes are fitting, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Avengers clothes are just getting busted out of here.
So how's your week going?
It was a good week. It was a big week, honestly. A much bigger week on the scale than I thought I would have because I'm pretty consistent, like kind of seeing what I see. It's been sticking around 3 pounds for a while now. But I had a 4.5 pound week, which
Nice.
which was great. And so I was super pumped about that. I'm at 121 total.
Wow.
And it's kind of weird because I finally realized this.
Like that's a person.
Yeah, like that, this past week hit me more than most in terms of just like, holy shit. Because now, even going back to the days when I lost weight in 2013 and 2014, this is now the most weight I've ever lost in my life. Like we've now
yeah.
like officially eclipsed what I lost a couple years ago.
I had a similar realization a little bit ago that I'm now like at my lowest I've been since I came back from my first summer at camp when I lost like 40 pounds as a camper.
Right. That's like,
So
and
like I
that's
weigh
a
less
weird
than that now.
for anyone who has been big their entire life and then has lost weight at some point and then subsequently gained it back. It's kind of interesting. Like it did mess with my head a little bit at the beginning of this program because I did consistently think for a while of what if I can't lose this weight without the unhealthy tendencies?
Right.
Because that's how I did feel for a while when I wasn't on any program, was like, well, I'm not going to lose weight because I did it terribly the last time, and that's the only way I can do it.
Right. You figured you would just fall back into those
Yeah,
same
and
patterns.
so I mean, I felt super jazzed and like super proud about the fact that like I got here, and like we still have ways to go. Like I still have work to do, but it definitely gave me a big boost. And the other big thing right now is like I'm proud. I'm proud right now. Like I think that sense of self-pride is huge.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be proud of the shit that they do that moves them forward. Like
Absolutely.
It's a really big reoccurring theme for me. And then finally, like we're a month out until food. A month.
Oh, yeah.
Like real food for me is a month away.
Look at you.
It's wild. Like I'm excited and a little nervous, but like more.
So what's
more
your
excited.
what's your first meal going to be?
4 ounces of protein and a half cup of vegetables, because that's what my transition plan gives me. But just the fact that like it'll be nice to be introducing.
What's your first meal going to be after all that?
I don't
like when you're ready to like go out for the first time and eat.
It's kind of funny because I'm not really thinking about that as much. Like different things pop into my head, and like craving of the week is a good outlet for that. But like it is kind of weird that I'm not almost thinking about this in a celebratory form.
I feel like that's healthier, honestly.
Yeah, I think it is too, because I think the more stock I put into it, the more I'm going to go nuts.
Yeah, that's always a bad like mentality to have. Like,
and
we saw it every year at camp.
Right,
like, oh,
exactly.
we're going to fat camp, so it's time to put on 5 pounds that we're gonna have to work off next week.
Exactly. And so I think at this point, like I've never been this confident in my entire life about anything, like just my overall confidence level. And so I'm really not trying to rock the boat. Like I'm just trying to keep doing my thing and just keep cruising along. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But you know what's never broken and never needs to be fixed?
Craving of the week.
Yeah, you're damn right it is. Let's get right into it. You want to lead off or you want me to lead off?
Why don't you lead off?
Ooh, okay. So here's the thing, okay? Remember when we would go to Red Robin a lot?
Yes.
Like during the summers? Remember getting like the Cookie Magic milkshake? And what was the best part in your opinion about the Cookie Magic milkshake?
The cookie.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you that. For me, the best part was the side dish.
Oh, yeah.
Of the extra shake.
Oh, yeah. They give you like the backup when you're finished.
I think there should be a federal law that says like all shakes come with extra shake. You know, like you get the dish it was made in. And so it just kind of got me thinking like, man, your boy loves some of that moo shake, you know? I love that moo shake. And what I want this week is a Camelback backpack full of Cookie Magic milkshake. Here's the thing. I do wonder, like, if you're walking, right? If you're walking on a nice hot summer day and you have a milkshake, you just have that shake. It's not like you could ever hold the other. You're not going to.
Of course not.
You're not double fisting the shakes, dude.
Never.
Like that's
But you don't have to put in any work with a Camelback.
Exactly. I want the Camelback.
You can just sit back.
Just saddle up, dude.
Suck.
I think I could do the Appalachian Trail. I could do the Appalachian Trail with the Camelback on my backpack, just full of Cookie Magic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And
although I do find it very interesting, the psychology of this, because I'm surprised that in a craving, you would make a shake your craving, even though you've been drinking straight shakes for
I know,
like
and
6 months.
And it's so funny because like I've told people like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to want shakes again after this. But then I kind of just got on this weird thinking of like the Cookie Magic milkshake hits different. Yeah. You know?
That is true.
And like, I mean, just extra shake, just you have the mouthpiece and you just, like, oh, hold on 1 second, Jan. Like, I got to shake up. And
I love that. They do that at Chili sometimes, too, with the drinks that, like, they'll give you, like, another, like, I think it's the Presidente margaritas. They give you, like,
they give you the extra drink.
It's
extra
exactly
drink.
what I want. I can drink more without having to call over my waiter.
Right. And with Cookie Magic milkshake, like, milkshake deserves that, I think. It's just one of those delicacies where I could take that Camelback and dual use, because on a hot summer day, it's cold.
Oh, exactly.
So I'm cooling off my back.
So now do you think there's a way, because like you're going to run into this problem of now it's going to be in the sun on a hot day, touching your sweaty back.
Oh yeah, no,
it's going to melt.
The technology behind Camel, look, the technology behind Camel Shake is like it's almost like a camel's hump. Like it retains and
it retains.
Yeah, like it retains
like temperature.
I'm gonna have this one. Yeah, we're gonna
like
call
it's a cooler.
Yeah,
we're
gonna
basically
call it
a
the
cooler.
hump. Yeah, almost like a Yeti cooler, but of shake.
Okay.
And then I just take it to
I'm
my
with you
own
now.
shake refill station, And then maybe we have different flavors. Maybe it's just
absolutely. Why limit yourself?
A big wall, and you fill the shit up from the bottom, and you're like, I'm feeling a little Reese's today. And then
I really love the mint shakes that they had.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm craving milkshakes, because it seems like something that I should not be craving. but that's where I'm at. But what about you this week?
So let me take you back in time to the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Ooh. The
movie. They get into their version of the Batmobile, which is the Krabby Patty Mobile.
Right.
And it was a fully functional burger and car.
An underwater Honda Civic. Yeah.
Made out of a Krabby Patty.
Right, exactly.
So put that off to the side for a second.
Okay, putting it off to the side.
Now, KFC came out a couple years ago with something shocking. The donut sandwich.
The donut chicken sandwich, yeah.
Donut chicken sandwich. But I kind of want to tweak that a little bit. Instead of donuts, I want sticky cinnamon buns.
Ooh, so you want like a sticky cinnamon bun?
Yep.
Chicken sandwich.
Sticky cinnamon bun chicken sandwich.
Holy shit balls.
But I want this to be like the Krabby Patty Mobile.
So it's the size of the Krabby Patty Mobile
the size
and on
of the Krabby
wheels.
Patty
It's
Mobile. Honestly, I want multiple ones because I want to be able to drive around and also eat it.
Right. You have a stay-at-home mobile.
Yeah, I have some to eat, some to like drive around and just flex on people while they walk by and they're like, holy shit, that looks delicious. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I have 5.
Hey, Barry, what's under that tarp? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. It smells really sweet.
Don't even look in this direction.
I swear to God, Todd, if you look at that fucking tarp one more time, and then that's it. Todd gets 2 chances, max.
Oh, yeah, no. Todd's fucking out of here already.
Fucking out of here. Jesus. But that's really good. I do like the practicality of it, that it's really a sandwich that serves you, because
absolutely.
What's better than a long car ride? And like, let's say you're taking a one-way trip and you're going to fly home. You just snack on the way
Absolutely.
on your mobile. And
now you never have to stop at a rest stop.
I really
You never
like
have
that.
to go to like get food from a gas station or something. You're just good.
Yeah, you're never stopping at like the Darien, Connecticut rest stop to go get something from Chipotle, which never made sense to me in itself.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that for a second, okay? So there's a rest stop on 95 in Darien, Connecticut. I know it so well because I stopped there so many times for so many relationships that were long distance. I digress, okay? I would stop at this Darien, and I would see people lined up at this Chipotle constantly. And all I could think of was like, you're getting food and like getting back into the car most likely. Who in their goddamn mind
is picking Chipotle?
Is going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to eat this bowl with my hands while it's on my lap. Or like, God forbid you get a burrito, dude. Like, there's no chance that you are eating a burrito with one hand and comfortably driving with the other.
Especially that would just give me so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when I take a bite and it just starts to fall apart
Right,
at the
exactly.
bottom while I'm going 65?
Yeah, and then you have to wear it all the way to Jersey. Like, I just, it doesn't, like, how'd you lose control of the vehicle? Well, you see the guac, it was a lot of guac, officer. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how Chipotle has a business there, and it really bugs me to this day, even though I love Chipotle, dude. I love it. But
I'm glad you got that off your chest.
yeah, honestly, that's been bugging me. And folks, thank you for coming on that journey with me. But I do like that. The cinnamon bun aspect is so interesting. You know what I mean? Because you really do get that swalty.
Oh, yeah.
Trademarked.
I don't know if it's, I guess it would be a little swalty, but
Yeah,
also
the chicken's
swaltavery.
Yeah, swaltavery. So I look at that, and cinnamon buns, that's layers of flavor. And then KFC chicken sandwiches, also 11 herbs and spices. You are putting like 26 different flavors in here.
This might be the ultimate food.
And folks, we have another fan submission craving of the week, this time coming from our good friend Pump.
Oh, I'm
Coming
excited
from Pump.
for this one.
So hey, Pump, shout out to you, baby. I miss you. We miss you. And thank you for sending this in. We really, really appreciate it. And so Pump is sending us a craving of the week.
I don't think you can keep calling him Pump without just giving a little digression.
That's how he signed the email. And so that's
okay.
what I'm going with, because obviously we called him Pumpernickel, but he signed it Pump. I'm giving him Pump.
All
okay,
right.
so
that works. Hi, Pump.
So Pump sent this in, right? And this is something that does exist. And so Pump's craving of the week was a fat sandwich from the grease trucks. So the grease trucks were something, this was like 2009, where like they were like folklore. So it was the year before you got there. The grease trucks are these trucks on Rutgers University campus, right? And they serve these like fat sandwiches. This sandwich from the grease truck, this fat sandwich from the grease truck that Pump submitted, bread, so it's like a roll, like a hoagie roll.
Okay.
Cheesesteak, chicken fingers, French fries, mozzarella sticks, onion rings, lettuce, tomatoes, ketchup.
Oh, okay. That is such a relief to me. I thought when you said fat sandwich, my mind went to like a sandwich, like 2 pieces of bread with lard in between. Like, I was like, please tell me this isn't where we're going.
Yeah, we get it out of a vat.
That sounds fucking
That sounds
awesome.
absolutely thrilling. That sounds like an Avengers movie. Like, that is so many layers of flavor. And these were like super popular for like counselors when I was a camper in 2009. On their day off, they would drive all the way to Rutgers.
All the way to Rutgers
from the Poconos just to get these sandwiches and come back. And I will admit, in my last week as a camper, one of my counselors, I won't put them on blast, one of my counselors woke me up in the middle of the night. It's like 2 a.m. after their day off and subsequent night off. Just goes, Seth, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. And I freak out because I'm like, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? And he goes, you're going to want to smell this. And he puts it in front of my face and smells it. And I was just like, holy shit. And he gave me one bite.
Nice.
I got one bite. And that's the only bite of a fat sandwich I've ever had. I never went to go get one. And so,
honestly, I can't really judge considering we started off the episode thinking about driving 4.5 hours
to go get chicken salad.
And that doesn't even sound that good now.
Yeah, no, that sounds heavenly. And so, Pump, that was a great way to remind that. Thank you for sending that in. We really, really appreciate it. And that's another Craving the Week down. So, folks, keep submitting SFTW submissions at gmail.com. We want all of your cravings.
Every single one.
We want all of them. But we are going to move on into our next segment. We're bringing one back. What are we going with?
We are going with fictional foods.
Fictional foods. We had a ton of fun with this one last time.
Yeah, honestly, and there's just so much that we could talk about.
Yeah, there's like the possibilities are endless. Like when we talk about like a segment that has legs, this one's got beefy legs. Like this one can go the distance. So since I let off Craving of the Week, I want you to indulge me and lead off with your fictional food this week.
This is a fictional food that might not have as much notoriety because it comes from Harry Potter, but it's not in the movies. It's only in the books. It's talked about in the books.
All right, play at me.
So it's called a cauldron cake.
A cauldron cake.
Yeah, so like the thing that they brew potions in, a cauldron.
Okay, yep.
Right, so a cauldron cake. And it is basically a small sponge cake with chocolate and cinnamon spice filling inside.
Okay. Inside.
Inside. So it's basically like think of it like a Twinkie in the shape of a cauldron.
And inside is almost like a cinnamony Nutella.
Right.
Okay.
And it's like, I think it's like the inside of the cauldron. So it's like, that's almost the potion in the cauldron.
Oh, I like that.
You know what I mean?
And then you're just infusing it into the sponge cake.
Yeah, exactly. And it has like a spicy kick to it too, but that also goes with like the sweet.
I'll tell you what.
We're getting a lot of flavor combinations here this week.
I'll tell you what. That's my kind of witch's brew, brother. You know, like that is right up my alley. That sounds really, really good. I always had a soft spot for like sponge cakey type of desserts, but like if it's just the sponge cake,
yeah, no, it's not like worth it.
Meh. But when it's filled with something, I mean, fill me up. You know,
10 out of 10.
And like always, I think we've all thought this with like sponge cake type of like Hostess cake, like sometimes you just want a little side of the tube of the cream that gets injected so that you can just like put that in your mouth and just full send.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like that's
and that's what I kind of like about the cauldron cake. If you wanted to scoop that out, that'd be an easy scoop.
Right, like I would almost pay out my bag for the cauldron. Like, save me the sponge cake. I'm going to just eat this shit with a spoon, you know? Like, that's kind of my thing. I really like that. And so interesting that never made it into the movies.
Yeah.
Butterbeer is all... Butterbeer and...
Chocolate Frogs.
Well, that and the beans.
Bernie Bott's.
Yeah, Bernie Bott's Every Flavor Beans. Like, those are the ones that I instantly remember.
That was the one that I was thinking of, like, talking about, Bernie Bott's, but, like, that is also a real thing that you can actually get.
Yeah, I know I have a couple from Harry Potter I want to cover eventually, but, this is like such a hidden gem in the books that, hey, kids, get out there and read.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Go read.
That's my way. That was my way of subtly shaming everybody who's just watched the movies.
Yeah, but you can be one of those people that's like, well, I think the books are better. And it's like some people just like movies.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. You know, but audiobooks, the perfect happy medium.
Honestly, the audiobooks for Harry Potter are really good. They're nice and long, so it keeps you going for a long time.
Yeah. So I like that.
So what's your fictional foods?
I'm taking you back to some 90s Nickelodeon TV.
Okay.
I'm taking you back to some 90s Nickelodeon TV. And you know what? I'm not sure how much I'll date myself here with this one, but I do really, really think that this one might resonate with people growing up in the 90s. I went with the Reptar bar from Rugrats.
As soon as you said Nicktoons, that was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, is he going to go Reptar here?
I'm going the Reptar bar, dude, because like as a kid, seeing the Reptar bar pop up, I was just like, shit, I want a Reptar bar. Like, it's kind of like how you were with the Krabby Patty and your mom made you a burger and you were like, that's not that shit. Like, my mom used to buy like ice cream bars, like Rugrats ice cream bars, and she would be like, Reptar bar. I'm like, that shit's not a Reptar bar.
Like the ones that are like the popsicles you get from like the ice cream man that are in the shape of Reptar.
Yeah, or no, it was the ones where it was like the characters like sketched onto them. It was like Tommy Pickles on there, and I'm like, Tommy Pickles ain't Reptar, but dude, the Reptar bar, right?
Okay.
The ingredients so simple.
I'm with you here.
Chocolate, caramel, nuts, green stuff. Now I want to focus on the green stuff, right?
Oh, really? Not the nuts?
Well, I deep dove into this the other night. Like,
oh boy.
Like there's an episode where Angelica is singing a theme song like for the Reptar bar that's like Candy Bar Supreme, the candy bar that turns your tongue green. What is the green stuff? You know,
what is the green stuff?
Reptar is supposedly just like a Godzilla knockoff, but people don't give Reptar enough credit because Reptar can speak. He only says one thing, and it's Reptar. But he can speak. Like, that is a very smart dino.
He's got Hodor syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. He was Hodor before Hodor. But the green stuff. The green stuff. It's almost like when Heinz came out with green ketchup and parents were like,
no, that was bad.
You.
I remember that.
Those
were the dark days.
All kids were like, I want green and purple ketchup. And every parent in America was like, eat shit. Like, nobody wanted that shit, dude. Like, but kids are just like, it's going to turn my tongue green. I want it. Like, that like sets
I think I definitely was one of those kids too.
Yeah, I was too. Like, I wanted to put green ketchup on my hot dog. You know why? Because apparently I was trying out to be Ted Bundy. Like, I don't know. And green stuff.
I do think that all of the stuff on that does sound good. Now, green stuff almost makes me think like vegetable.
It almost makes me think of chemical contaminant. Like that's what it sings for me. Like, who knows where it's coming from? Like, what if it's literally just like waste from the factory that they were like, do we get rid of this responsibly or do we take the typical American company route and just shove it into the things that people will eat?
Now, what if it's just like sour apple pixie dust?
I don't know. Fuck that. I don't want that in my chocolate and nuts, you know, like with the caramel.
You never know. It could be a nice flavor combination.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like.
No, I'm with you on that. I definitely want to know what the green stuff is.
Green stuff. Like, folks, we're sending out.
Did they ever?
We're not sending out the bat signal. Like, just for the sake of rhyming, we're going to send out the fat signal. And we need you all to find out what is the green stuff in the Reptar bar. I need to know it. I do need to know it.
Now, did they ever do, because you know how like the Scooby snacks, they had like the officially licensed, like they had like pet Scooby snacks, but they also had like actual snacks.
Yeah, those
Scooby
were
snacks.
Those shit was just like.
Did they ever have anything that was like that for the Reptar bar, where like they were like, oh, now we have the Reptar bar?
No, but that's the kind of '90s Nickelodeon chic, like retro, like nostalgia that could come back right now and it would sell off the shelves. But you know what? Maybe
I'm surprised that the ice cream man has like Tommy Pickles popsicles, but no Reptar bars.
Yeah. I thought of a new character. Actually, can I tangent really quick? Can I tangent really quick?
We're already doing it. We've lost all structure.
I was sitting in my office the other day and I like for some reason like a meme of Pablo Escobar came up like across the Twitter feed at work and I was just like, oh, okay, that's funny. And then all I could think of was like I was thinking of like a new character called like Pablo Ice Cream Bar. And like is that something? Is there something there?
Is he like a drug kingpin, but he pushes like
he essentially ice cream? No, he pushes. The only reason why he ever got into the cocaine game is because he just loves ice cream so much and needed to afford it and needed everybody to have
so
it.
The tragic Breaking Bad story,
right? Exactly, and it's just like Pablo Ice Cream Bar, like.
It's almost like something I think Cookie Monster might do.
Yeah, I thought of this in my office and I was laughing to myself and I was like, I really hope that that's not funny. Like, I need that to at least get a little chuckle.
It's definitely not funny. I would even go so far as to say it is funny.
Yeah, that is odd, but okay, cool. Okay, I needed to get that off. I'm getting a lot of shit off my chest today, and it's honestly, I feel it's therapeutic.
Oh, that was last episode. You're a little late on that.
Yeah, whatever. You know what? I think maybe we still have some residual effect, but you know what? Another fictional foods down, and fictional foods really, like when we first did this, right? I had people texting me constantly being like, why didn't you say this one? Why didn't you say that one? But what about this one?
Hey,
folks,
there's always going to be more fictional foods.
There's always going to be more fictional foods. And folks, there's always SFTW submissions. Like we want some people to submit like those fictional foods, submit those things. And we need that.
Absolutely.
We need more of you in our lives. Always.
So you ready to move on to the main topic here?
I think so. I think I am because I'm really, really excited for this main topic.
So what is our main topic today?
Our main topic today and the title of this episode is, oddly enough, I'm sure some people saw the title of this and they're like, huh? Mm-hmm. It's called Skinny Solidarity. And folks, trust me, it will connect. Skinny Solidarity started because we got a submission email from a listener who wanted to explain the other side of the spectrum. And I thought that this was so interesting. I want to read a little bit from this email. I won't read the whole thing, but this is from Mick in Massachusetts. And Mick said, "Hey, Seth and Strawberry, I listen to the podcast every week and wanted to give my input as a habitual skinny person. I have tried to gain weight basically my entire life, and nothing has ever worked. Weightlifting, eating till my stomach hurts, shakes, you name it. While I am on the opposite side of the spectrum, I find it interesting in trying to compare losing weight to a skinny person gaining weight. Being the skinny kid, there were some things I wanted to do, but couldn't because of how small I was. My parents would always say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Listening to you guys each week gives me motivation to try and make myself look healthier. I currently weigh 128 pounds and have weighed that since Seth and I graduated high school. Just wanted to give you guys some input on the opposite side. Once again, great podcast, and thank you for listening to what I had to say." Now, Mick and I did grow up together, right? And
Yeah.
Mick, if you're out there, buddy, I love you. Thanks so much for sending that in. Like, we both appreciate it.
Absolutely.
A ton.
Because that's something that, like, I've never really considered, because I guess it's definitely not as common.
I told you this right when I read the email. I just learned something. Like, this was like one of those brain blast, like, big moment kind of things, because it's so funny, especially since Mick and I, we grew up together, we went to high school together. I used to look at Mick all the time, who was always so skinny and so thin, and just be like, I got to get there.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
I was like, I got to get there. Little did I know he was thinking about the same shit. Probably not looking at me, but like looking at, but you know what I mean? Looking at people who weighed significantly more than him, being like, I got to get to that.
And I feel like that's probably like a very isolating thing too. Just like thinking about, obviously it's tough like being overweight, but there are so many people, especially people I know going to fat camp,
right,
that I could like commiserate with about that. And I feel like there is such a minority of people who are like that, where they're trying to put on weight.
Right.
And so it almost, I'm sure, makes it harder to have some sort of solidarity
with
somebody in your situation.
Even just the existence of camp, where you have a group of
There's
kids
no
who are there
camp.
to, right, exactly. They're like, people just call that summer camp, where like you can just go eat what you want.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But if you try everything and nothing works and you have nobody to talk to about it, that blows. Like,
well, and when you were first talking about it, like he said that he's tried eating until his stomach hurts. He's tried like building muscle and like working out. Like, those would have been my first two suggestions, so
right.
I'm out.
Exactly. And like, I don't even think it's our place to put suggestions.
Oh,
I think
absolutely not.
The bigger thing here is that as fat people our entire life, as bigs, right, we have never looked at skinny people and said like, you can relate. Like, we have never looked at skinny people and said, you can relate to what we're going through.
Yeah,
very rarely.
Very true.
Very rarely have we ever been in a position where we could see that. This further proves that we are more similar than we are different.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It does come back to like almost a purpose of body image as well. Like, I think that's a very underlying theme here. But never did I want to talk to my skinny friends from home about the shit that I was going through with my weight loss. That's what I have my camp friends for. But for somebody on the other side, being skinny and not having something or someone to confide in, like that, it hurts and it sucks. And like, obviously we can't get that time back. But if Mick and I had known this years ago, we would have probably confided in each other a lot more.
I think it's interesting too, because when it comes to weight loss, you know, and we've even said this before, that, you know, calories in, calories out.
Right.
And very common adage. And it's true to the extent where, you know, there are certain people, due to certain whatever factors there might be,
right, whatever genetic factors or metabolism, because like mixed metabolism must just run super fast,
right?
Yeah.
So for him, it's not just it's not always just as simple as calories in, calories out,
right?
And because I've also been talking to some friends who are trying to lose weight too, that do everything they're supposed to, you know, track their food, like they eat the right things, but like the weight still clings on. And
well, yeah, it clings on, or it comes off at a much slower rate.
Right.
You know what I
and
mean?
sometimes it's, people's bodies are different.
And I just think that this is such a mind-blowing experience to read an account like this, because constantly, why we do this show is that we want to establish relatability with people who are going through it, and we also want to give a peek behind the curtain to people who are on the outside looking in, people who were never big. And the fact that obviously Mick listens every week, and I love and appreciate that so much. But the fact that he can listen to this and find motivation and find relatability and then feel comfortable enough sending us something and talking about it, there needs to be more of that amongst people who are so physically fit and people who are so overweight.
And maybe it's just like a shift in how we think about it, because, usually I have always thought of it in terms of like, skinny or like fit and then fat.
Right.
And kind of just like this one dynamic here.
But it's not so black and white.
But like it sounds like Mick has had the fat experience, even
right.
though he was never fat, because the fat experience to me is like you look different, so there are all of these assumptions that people see when they see you.
Yep.
Some people look at you a certain way just because you're overweight.
Exactly.
So like things like that, but at the same time, a lot of those things can be true on the other end too. I mean, I know there are certain, if you're looking for, a relationship,
right?
The body image issues can follow a very skinny person the same way they can follow a fat person.
Exactly. And I really thought it was interesting when you pointed out, like, there were some things that I couldn't do. And we know all about that.
Oh, yeah,
Holy
absolutely.
Shit. Like, anything that required long walking, we were just like, nope, that's a big no.
The biggest one I had was, like, the biggest problem I had was when we would go on the camp trips to the amusement parks.
And, oh, yeah.
Like, this is exactly what we want to do, is we want to have kids self-consciously think about how fat they are while they lower the handlebars over their body and then struggle to, like, suck in their gut long enough to pull it in.
And then the attendant needs to come in and, like, punch them in the stomach to, like, get the bar to go.
Like, it's, like, that's terrible.
Because those are the things that, I mean, for anyone who hasn't grown up big, and apparently I'm sure a lot of people who haven't grown up big too, but there's always something that happens to you that reflects on your size, whether skinny or big, that sticks with you. For me, it's the seatbelt extension on the airplane.
Well, and that's why I think that it's not so much a paradigm of like fat and skinny. I think it's more of just a body, like a body image thing.
Right.
People who, fit into that idealized image and people who don't, and whether you're, you don't fit into that because you're too skinny or too fat or because you're too short or whatever appearance issue it is, acne, like that's a lot of this, that they have a lot of things in common in the way that they make you feel as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I really, really like that there's a dialogue. There's a way to bridge that gap between people who have never been fat and people who live big. And because I do think that there are so many things that we can share with each other and that we can at least talk about and talk out that kind of show like, oh, you do kind of understand this, where I don't think we ever really thought of that much before.
Because really the only skinny people that I'm really like close friends with and that I've been close friends with for a long time are people who have gotten skinny at camp.
Right. People who went through the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they might have like, they understand the fat struggle because they were there. But it's very interesting hearing that from somebody who's always been skinny.
And I
appreciate that.
The one thing that I think that I might suggest, or at least play in the space of suggesting, right, is that in his email, Mick says that he has the motivation to get looking healthier. And we don't know what that looks like for anybody. And we're not people to speak on that for anybody. But what I would, I guess, suggest is obviously, one, what do your doctors say?
Yeah, that would be the first thing.
What do medical experts and medical professionals say? And then two, I think it's maybe just experimenting with different things that can maybe push that in the direction. But if there is nothing, it shouldn't ever be a reason to hold anyone back.
So now, one thing that like I'm just thinking about, because being at camp and having the education I have about like food things. So I was always told saturated fats were really like bad to eat in the sense that they are kind of like the fats that'll stay with you the longest.
Okay.
So I almost wonder if like high saturated fats is like something to try to focus on. Like, do you think like I really have no idea. That's a question for a nutritionist.
Yeah, for a dietitian or a nutritionist. And since we're not in that space, and like I think it's so interesting for us to even think about weight gain.
Yeah, because it's almost like thinking about all of the things that I try to avoid.
Right.
And it's like,
and then
would that do it?
But you know what's funny is because then it sort of provides a little insight for some of those people who are like just diet and exercise. And we looked at them and been like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
About that.
Yeah, like for some people who are on the other end of the spectrum and look at big people and just go do it. I don't know what to tell you. Or just stop eating bad foods. Whereas I think we would be the naive ones to just be like, go eat high fat foods. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? And that's where it's so funny because I'm sure that other people on the other end have heard stuff like that and they're just like, you just don't get it.
Yeah,
like you
absolutely.
just don't get it. And I think that if there's ever a chance to find relatability, you find it. You find it in the oddest of places, and we found it here. And so, Mick, again,
really appreciated that.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, that's another submission main topic. I mean, we had Miles first, then Mick, and we really appreciate it when submission emails spark our main topic.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to kind of just be immediately inspired by something.
Especially when it's an angle that we didn't even think of, and we were able to learn something here. And I think that was big. And so, Mick, I hope you're doing well, buddy. I love you. And that's another main topic down. And so we are going to move on.
You know, I've been thinking a lot this week, Seth, about what's going on at camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do a quick check-in with our boots on the ground correspondent, Nick.
Absolutely. Let's get Nick on the horn right now.
Hello?
Nick.
Hey, Nick. It's Seth and Strawberry.
Yeah, Seth and Strawberry from Sorry for the Wait. How we doing, Nick?
Hey, give me 1 second, guys. Jimmy, if I have to tell you to put that swim cap on one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay? So keep it on your head, or else you're getting out of the pool. All right, sorry, guys.
All right, yeah, no, Nick, no problem.
No,
so
we understand the
Nick,
struggle.
We got to know, in between telling kids to put their swim caps on, what are you up to?
So right now I'm actually teaching a synchronized swimming class that I've kind of adopted this year.
Ooh.
And hold on. Jimmy, tuck the elbows in, man. Your form is terrible. And I'm not going to tell you again.
Well, you know what, Nick, it sounds like you've got your hands full, and it sounds like your synchronized swimming class is going fantastic.
Honestly, I wish I was a part of it.
And so, Nick, honestly, we want to thank you for the update for Boots on the Ground, and you tell those swimmers to keep swimming, all right?
Yeah, and tell Jimmy to
stop
giving
guys,
you excuses.
Sorry about all the chaos going over here, but, I mean, being this kind of instructor is pretty rough.
Hey,
so
you
guys have a great rest of your podcast.
Hey, Nick.
You too.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Adios.
And that was our Boots on the Ground correspondent, Nick. It sounds like things are still going well.
Yeah, honestly, synchronized swimming. I could fuck with that.
I really, really hope that kid puts his swim cap back on,
Jimmy.
honestly. So, Jesus Christ.
What are you doing?
I mean, sometimes the kids just don't want to cooperate.
Yeah.
You got to lay the law down.
It's kind of hard to make them wear things that they don't want to wear.
So we're going to move on into our final segment, and we're bringing one back. We are going back to dinner debate.
I love dinner debate.
So the first time that we did this, we started a fire.
Yeah, I really didn't like a lot of the takes I was hearing. A lot of people were just wrong, and they were happy being wrong, and I just don't get that.
Yeah, I honestly think geographical location played a big factor in that one, honestly. And you know what? I think we do have another divisive one on our hands, and so I want you to come with me. Okay, let's go on a trip.
All right, closing my eyes.
Let's go visit some of our most authentic Italian friends, socially distant, but, we're going to go stay there for a little bit. They've been quarantined. We've been quarantined. Let's go visit some of our true Italian friends that we have, okay, where every meal is from scratch and every meal is prepared with the love of an authentic grandmother.
Nice. I fuck with Italian food.
Yeah.
You know that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I know it because that poem's going to probably sell 1,000 copies eventually when we do it, maybe even 1 million. Who knows? But we go to our friend's house, full Italian family in the house, and we're staying over, you and I. We figured, you know what? We deserve this trip. Let's go visit some friends. We get there. We have an incredible dinner. Then we go to sleep, and we wake up the next morning, and we come down, right?
Yeah.
And one of our friends in this scenario is making Pop-Tarts.
Ooh, I always love a good Pop-Tart.
Right, making Pop-Tarts. And, you know what? We are Team Pop-Tart all the way.
Always.
Right? And then all of a sudden, one of our friend's cousin comes out, right? Comes out, and And he's like, hey, why are you making Pop-Tarts? Like, this is an Italian household. We make every meal from scratch with love. Where's the love in Pop-Tarts? Which obviously we have a bone to pick with.
Well, I feel like the Pop-Tarts are also like out of place in this Italian kitchen where everything's made from scratch, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you remove from packaging, you put in toaster. I mean, that's as scratch as it gets, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But as this is ensuing, our friend turns around and goes, hey, it's on brand. A Pop-Tart is technically a ravioli. And the roof almost blows off the household. And so our dinner debate question is a popular one. Is a Pop-Tart technically a ravioli?
All right. So I kind of want to hear your take on this first.
Honestly, my gut instinct, if we weren't playing in this space, my gut instinct would be no. Okay. My gut instinct would be no. However,
I agree with that.
However, I think the argument can be made here because like it's almost like they are very similar. But when you say technically, and I guess technically leaves it open to interpretation. You know what? Actually, you know what? The way that this question is asked.
It is a very bad question. Is it technically a ravioli?
Because that's the way that this question is proposed. Is a Pop-Tart technically, holy shit, I'm back. I'm going to die on this hill. Oh my Lord. The word technically in here matters. Would you say it does? Would you say that this matters?
I would say it matters.
The word technically matters. You know what? I am going to make this argument, and I'm going to stick by it.
So you think that Pop-Tarts are a ravioli now? You've convinced yourself.
I have convinced myself that Pop-Tarts are technically a ravioli.
All right. So please explain your reasoning.
Technically doesn't mean exact. Correct?
Right. It means that it fits like the parameters of like what like almost like a definition.
Ravioli, right?
Mm-hmm.
Served warm. Can be eaten cold. Pop-Tart, usually served warm, also can be eaten cold, can be eaten frozen. There are multiple distribution channels of eating in this space, but that's not what I really want to focus on.
Okay.
You have what is in essence, I guess you would say a dough of some kind filled with something, and then you diet upon it. That is what we're looking at. We're looking at a Pop-Tart, which is usually filled with like sweet stuff, I guess. You know, for the most part, I've never had a meaty Pop-Tart, but
that would be an interesting flavor.
But we're also looking at a ravioli, usually stuffed with other stuff.
All right, so counter here, because I really can't let you keep going on with the slander without pushing back hard.
Okay, come at me. All right.
First of all, you really like this word technically, I think.
I do.
And I think that you should like it because technically has to do with definitions of how things work, but not even just definitions. It has to do with what is the purpose of the word ravioli? What is that word meant to describe in the English language? Because can be eaten hot, can be eaten cold, applies to 99% of foods.
That applies to a lot of things.
And then having some sort of dough with something else inside it also opens up literally thousands of things that you are outside your mind. Like, do you think a calzone is a ravioli technically?
You know, I actually kind of can see it. It's an oversized ravioli.
All right, well then you're just wrong, and that makes me mad.
I honestly don't think that, I'm not joking. Like, I have convinced myself of this over the past 30 seconds, and you know what? I'm just going to run with it before I hate it and I cut all of this. But you know what? The word technically has saved my point of view. Technically. It's technically. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly. It's just you have stuff stuffed with stuff.
Like, now, what if is a ravioli just technically a toaster pastry? What if
no, it's not technically a toaster pastry because it doesn't go in the toaster. You could boil a Pop-Tart.
Could you boil a Pop-Tart?
You know what? I'm so confident here that I'm going to.
Do you think you could? You think that you could boil a Pop-Tart and it would remain like at least just something solid that you could pick up with your hands?
I think it would still be edible. Absolutely. And as long as it's still edible, it's still a Pop-Tart. Because it's still a Pop-Tart. You know what?
That's not Pop-Tart, though. That's almost like just...
I am like a Supreme Court justice here that is just so off the rails that I am hanging on to this.
I don't know.
I'm hanging on to the wording of technically.
I don't know. It almost reminds me of like a crouton you're putting in like a soup or something. Like it'll fall apart and it's not going to be like a... You know what I mean? Like that's
crouton... No, I think that you still have... It's almost like a French onion soup. Like French onion soup has like the big crouton in it. And yes, it gets soggy, but it is still the crouton. Like it's not, it hasn't disintegrated into the soup.
Okay.
I think that I'm not joking. This newfound stance that I'm taking, I actually think might have some legs.
So here's where I'm going to say that, like, this is why I don't think that works.
Raviolis can be fried and Pop-Tarts can be fried.
Literally anything can be fried, Seth.
I don't know. That scene in Community.
I can fry my fucking shoe if I wanted to.
You technically could, but I'm talking about, like, in essence, they are served fried. Like, you have seen cases where
Oreos are a ravioli.
No, but no, that's not the only factor going into this. That, like, there are other factors. I'm just saying, I'm listing off similarities.
All right. So here's my biggest problem. My biggest problem comes with ingredients. How are these things made? Because pasta is made very differently than pastries are. The dough is very different. Pasta dough, butter. Pastry dough has eggs. So those two things make a huge difference in how you prepare them. They fundamentally alter how the dough behaves when it's cooked.
Yeah.
You can't just substitute one of those for the other. There's a difference between a pasta and a pastry. They can't be interchangeable.
Barry, I have a feeling that you think that I'm saying a Pop-Tart is a ravioli. I have a feeling that's what you think. I'm saying that it's technically a ravioli.
So
technically, I technically think
this
that
is
it
like,
could be.
I feel like this is a literally case where I don't know if you're arguing that it's like literally a ravioli or if you're arguing it is literally a ravioli.
It's sort of like, is it a hot dog or is it not a hot dog? Like,
it sounds like you're. I don't know. I don't understand what technically
I don't know
means
what
to you
I honestly don't know what came over me in which that I switched my stance on this. Maybe I'm doing a full heel turn where Seth is on Seth Island as per usual and he's just going off the rails. Like, you're dealing with, like, gunslinging Seth here. Like, where I could honestly look at a Pop-Tart and someone's like, it's technically a ravioli, and I could just be like, yeah, you know what? I could get on that Tea Party movement, you know? Like,
all right, well, I guess we're just gonna have to, like, agree to disagree on this, because I am very, very firmly ensconced in the camp that it is not a ravioli, and it is definitely not technically a ravioli either.
Ah, man, I think you're wrong on the latter. But you know what? We're going to chalk it up to a friendly debate, because at the end of the day, right, as the Italian family is fighting over this question, we go to Wawa and we go through the drive-thru, and
that is definitely not a ravioli.
and Wawa is not a ravioli. But you know what? I honestly think, like, it's tough with dinner debates sometimes, because we can agree on a lot of these different ones, but I did get, like, this weird.
I was very thrown off by it. I was expecting you to be coming in like, oh, I'm not a big fan, but I could see.
You know what? Like, I felt like I needed to take that stance once, like, the beast came over me. And you know what? I could be right here on an island in the minority, but I have a feeling that I'm going to have some people out there who stand with Seth in solidarity.
Honestly, after the whole, like, cheesecake is a pie thing, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, who knows what the world thinks.
There are a lot of people with wrong opinions out there.
The world's so psychotic right now that I feel like this could absolutely go one way or the other. But you know what? That's another dinner debate. And folks, if you have any other dinner debates that you need settled, what kind of food debates have you had with your friends and your family that you just need us to weigh in on? Pun absolutely intended.
Yeah, and specifically, like, if there's anything that your family's genuinely fought over about food, like, is this a this? Or really anything with food.
We need to know it.
I want to know.
We need to know it. So SFTW submissions at gmail.com. I think we've dropped that email like 3 times in this episode, so we're super pumped.
I'm sorry, what was that, Seth? I couldn't hear you.
SFTW submissions.
What does that stand for?
At gmail.com. It stands for Sorry for the Wait. That's my new, like, R&B voice that I'm trying out.
Yeah, do it again.
No, I don't want to. We're going to go into closing thoughts. And Barry, I think that this main topic was so out there for us because we never even entertained the idea, but it's something that I was so excited to do as soon as we got that email.
Absolutely.
And I do think that there's something to be said for the email that Mick sent in.
Yeah, and you know, it's not my place to give any sort of advice, but you know, it's solidarity, brother. Like, you're in the fight with us.
Well, I guess, like, we always say it in all of our posts about, like, we're in this together always, you know, and this is one of those moments that really made that feel a lot more personal and a lot realer. And we want to thank all of you out there who are listening and are sticking by us, especially through these early days. And really, if you love the show and you love what we're doing here and you really just want to be a part of the journey and you're listening on an iPhone and can rate 5 stars and write a review on Apple, we would appreciate that so much.
And make sure to follow us on every social media platform out there, the tweet book, the Facetagram, and and the Apple.
You have turned into old man who yells at social media because you just don't like to use it as much. But our social media handles will be in our show notes, so go check them out. Go give us a follow. And we're really, really excited for all the new stuff that we have planned. And so, you know what, folks? For Sorry for the Wait, I'm Seth.
And I'm Strawberry.
And remember, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, and keep your snacks the closest.